Welcome to Walking with the Ancient Masters, a podcast dedicated to exploring the ancestral shamanic practices of the Shipibo people of the Amazon rainforest. Shipibo shamans are renowned for holding the most advanced knowledge for healing with the master plants of the Amazon, and their extensive skill for working with ayahuasca, the powerful plant medicine healing brew, dates back hundreds, if not thousands, of years. I'm Becky Griffin. Join me and other facilitators of the Caya Shobo Healing Center as we explore the remarkably transformative healing powers of the Shipibo shamanic traditions. We'll be talking with experienced practitioners, master healers, and community members about their life-changing experiences with ayahuasca and the Shipibo Master Plant Dieta practice. For more information, visit cayashobo.com. That's CAYASHOBO.com.
Welcome to Walking with Ancient Masters. I'm Nick Sobry, facilitator at Caya Shobo Healing Center with over 10 years experience studying the Shipibo shamanic healing and helping others find deep healing with this remarkable tradition. In today's episode, I talk with Becky Griffin, one of the co-founders of Caya Shobo, about why ayahuasca and Shipibo Master Plant Dietas are attracting so much attention in the West, for the potential to deliver long-lasting healing of the body, mind, and soul. Becky holds over 17 years of experience working with ayahuasca and Master Plant Dieta. Join me as I ask Becky some foundational questions about the Shipibo tradition and the transformational shamanic practice of Master Plant Dieta.
The first one people are always interested in is the Shipibo people and how their traditions work in all sorts of modalities with the plants.
The Shipibo people are an indigenous group of people in the heart of the Western Amazonian basin in Peru, kind of centered around the Ucayali River system. There are probably around 35,000 or more in the Shipibo population today. It's a living tradition. And it's an estimated 3,000-year-old culture. Nobody knows exactly how old it is. There's not a lot of historical records in the heart of the jungle that go back that far. But the Shipibo themselves estimate that their culture is around 3,000 years old. And what's really interesting about this culture is that it's been relatively uninterrupted by other cultures over that time. So this amazing group of people who have survived in one of the most vigorous, most challenging physical environments have learned how to live in deep harmony with nature and with the plants in particular in the world's richest, most eco-diverse rainforest, and that they've retained that knowledge.
So did they have like a written language or is it all oral tradition?
Yeah, it's definitely an oral tradition. They don't have like a written language per se unique to the Shipibo people. Their tradition has been passed down orally from, father to son, mother to daughter over thousands of years. It's interesting actually because they weave their visions that that the maestras and maestros have in their shamanic practices with the plants. They may create beautiful depictions of those visions in their weavings and in their ceramic works and art.
And I've heard you mention there's not just like Shipibo maestros or shamans, what we call them here. They have like other types of healing practices as well inside the community.
So, like the many other indigenous tribal groups in the Amazon rainforest, they have herbal healers, that prepare remedies that might be things like teas or poultices or vapor baths or different things to treat different, acute or chronic conditions. They also have massage therapists or osteopaths, bone workers. A healer might specialize in midwifery, for example. Actually, it's families that tend to specialize in particular knowledge areas. But the shamans in the Shipibo tradition are considered kind of the most advanced healers, a lot of them have herbal healing knowledge, but their practice, their shamanic practice of kind of learning how to engage with the consciousness of plants and the energies and the kind of spiritual aspects of the relationship with the plants is considered much more challenging and advanced and requiring, much more discipline and dedication and teaching and knowledge being passed down to do it safely. So
That's kind of where we come in. It's like, why has it become so, it's kind of mainstream in Western society? We're moving away from Western medicines. We're moving into something more plant-based, more energetic-based, and I guess you could say spirituality as well.
something that's plant-based is kind of attractive to people because it takes us back into that heart of nature. Modern society has become so technified that it's a bit frazzling to the nervous system, we're kind of seeking that cool, calm peace of nature. There are a lot of really powerful and beneficial healing modalities that are available to us in the West. We've got modern medicine, pharmaceutical therapies, we've got psychotherapy, we've got also access to other traditional therapies, from other parts of the world, like Reiki or acupuncture or Ayurvedic medicine or Kundalini or lots of different practices and approaches that can be really, really helpful. While they could be beneficial, they kind of focused typically on one aspect of healing. So maybe healing the body or, maybe healing the emotional state or the mind, or perhaps just calming those things rather than deep healing. So I feel like what's really interesting about the Shipibo shamanism is this kind of a whole system of healing. It looks at every aspect of a person. It kind of approaches the physical healing and emotional and psychological and spiritual aspects all at once. And I'd say it goes beyond just calming or cleansing and purifying the body. It actually, that's definitely what happens at first, is the initial stages of treatment in Shipibo shamanism can help to really calm your state and kind of restore a sense of faith and positivity in your life, and can really cleanse the body, the blood, all the organs of the body. But then with a bit more progression with this particular healing path, you can really start to get into the depths of transformative healing. We are actually undergoing a transformational process from whatever forms that you've set up within you to cope with life and to deal with the traumas maybe that you've experienced, or just with the challenges of living in the modern system. These kind of forms that we build within ourselves that can become quite rigid, especially as we get older. This particular tradition really gets in and digs into the roots of those things and invites change and encourages genuine change and transformation. So I think for all those reasons, it's a really compelling tradition. It's why we're focused on it at Caya Shobo.
There's a difference between ayahuasca, the medicine, and then the dieta part of the medicine. And can you explain, like, the ayahuasca is kind of like the diagnostic tool. It shows us what we need healing with, but then the plants will really dig that up and really almost force you to transform.
Yeah, it's really fascinating and beautiful area of discovery. Ayahuasca is, I mean, I don't know if anyone can really explain what ayahuasca is. Ayahuasca is a very powerful plant medicine that seems to have an uncanny capacity to open a spiritual experience, a kind of tangible spiritual experience for people. And I think for that reason, it's gotten so much attention in the West, because we're hungry for that, For the Shipibo shamans, that's less surprising, perhaps, They grow it's through their lives fully immersed in the energies of nature, and for them the spiritual aspect of life is evident. It's very evident. So drinking ayahuasca and having a kind of powerful ayahuasca experience, I think for them is just kind of passing a little bit further, deeper into that world that they can sense all the time. Whereas for us, it can be a pretty wild, opening of things. It can be confusing and even scary. And yet it's this medicine, this inexplicable medicine has this wonderful, mysterious capacity to kind of reconnect us with deep aspects of ourselves, like open, lost memories, which can feel like you're in the memory when they're opening. You feel like you're time traveling almost. It's very, and that isn't the case for everyone either. So you can't just say that's what it is. It can be very physical and not be so visionary. It can be more emotional and soulful. But certainly it's a powerful medicine that opens things up and cleans as well. It's known to have a strong purgative effect. It can cause vomiting. For some people, it causes more kind of expelling, diarrhea or whatever, things like that, just cleansing of the body. And it's known by Shipibo shamans to be a powerful cleanser. But really, it's kind of strong attraction, I think, is this kind of looking through the portals to the spiritual realms.
I was nodding my head when you were saying that. It's like I came because I had lost faith in the medical system and I had no attachment to spirituality at all. So once that door opened, it was like, oh my God, was I wrong? Like almost pleading to God that I'm sorry because I didn't know for so long. And then my visions kind of went away after that because I really needed to connect to my body and learn about my body for a lot of years. And now they're starting to open up again. But that's through the diet process. It's like, for me, when I think of ayahuasca, it's all of those things that you explained, but it's more of the door to open into the diet realm and to understand what the plants are trying to teach us.
So let's talk about diet a bit for those people who aren't familiar with it. So what is this thing diet? Why do we say diet? I mean, we know a diet as in the modern world as basically a period of time where you exercise abstinence in what you eat, of something or other. And I mean, that's basically what you're doing in a diet in the Shipibo Plant Dieta practice is you're restricting certain foods and certain aspects of life, like lifestyle choices, for a period of time while you're connecting with a different plant. I think ayahuasca has helped the Shipibo shamans, the maestros, to be able to distinguish certain plants in the Amazon that are special. Like they're especially accessible in terms of their wisdom, their knowledge. And the Shipibo shamans call these the teacher plants or the master teacher plants. I mean, that's why we call this podcast Walking with the Ancient Masters, because it's, really the dieta practice is about learning the world of those master teacher plants. So when you drink ayahuasca, you get this sense of the wisdom that resides within a plant. It's quite surprising. Well, with the dieta practice, you can learn more about that with other plants that are not so powerfully psychoactive. In fact, they're not generally considered psychoactive at all. But if you follow the dietary restrictions, as the shamans have figured are important, and you ingest a tea or an infusion of these plants for a period of time, little by little, you kind of start to have a kind of relationship, a conversation with the plants, mostly through your dream state. So each dream can become like a mini ceremony. And this is a longer, slower, more subtle process. But over time, what the Shipibo shamans have come to understand is that by working with these master plants like this, the energies and the qualities of each of those plants are like fostered and nurtured inside of you, and their energetic forms take host inside of you. They reside inside of you and promote change. And that change is really sustainable change. It's not like a short window of insight into these other spiritual worlds like we're talking about with ayahuasca. It's like a slow and steady building up of an integration of energies, of your energy with the plant energies, and that prompts a different perspective entirely on your life, your relationships, your work, your activities, your play, your joy, your sadness, everything. So that's why we're so focused on the Dieta practice as well, because at Caya Shobo, what motivates us is like really deep healing. We want to help people heal and change their lives, and Dieta works to do that. Ayahuasca is kind of like the entryway, to get into it.
Did you find it hard when it was explained to you that it's a slow process, but it was like difficult for me. It was like I think my first diet was 3 months, and I was told you have to go like this slow path. And I was so used to always searching like quick button fixes. It's like, take this pill, you won't have pain anymore. But I always had the pain. The pain always returned the next day. And then when I was told, take this diet for 3 months and you will slowly learn to move through it. Was that part difficult for you too? Like accepting that true transformation takes time?
Yeah, interesting question. I think I didn't really understand what was happening. Nowadays I see some people enter Dieta practice and they have a real natural kind of talent for it, or they have a natural understanding of it. And then there's other people who really don't have much of a clue of what's happening, and they can get a little more frustrated. And I think I was more of the latter. My first diet was about 2.5 months, and I followed the restrictions, and I was having powerful dreams, but I didn't even really put the two things together. It was just like, oh, I had this dream of this cleansing that was happening, but I didn't really understand that was actually happening. It probably took me 3 diets, and so another 1.5 years after I'd completed 3 diets, that I was like, oh, I can. I'm starting to actually understand there's a process of change that I'm engaged with here. Um, and as you were talking, it brought to mind that in the beginning, I felt I really had to trust the maestros to kind of um, give me guidance in a different world. It was like entering a different ocean I'd never been in and being told, okay, you have to follow these stars, a new constellation or new kind of navigation system. And I didn't know for sure if that was right or not, but I just kind of knew that I had to trust. And I felt that. I felt like my mind and my body was like, oh, these things are happening. I don't really know what it means. It's all kind of in a fog, in a cloud. But in my spirit, I felt, okay, yeah, I'm gonna trust this. I feel there's something here.
For me, I came at this kind of different than a lot of people. So it was all based around, I was in deep pain from all my back surgeries. Um, so for me, it was just like, I have to trust this because I'm out of options in every other direction. So being in that kind of pain, like now when I look back at that life, I didn't even know how much pain I was in at the time. So that trust, it was like my last hurrah almost. And so I had to hold on to that, that this is going to work pretty. I think it was the first time I ever had faith in my life in something was, this medicine path. And the funny part about all that is the plant showed me pretty early on that I had to heal a whole bunch of other things before it would help me with my actual physical ailment.
I think for many people, and probably me as well, it is the opposite. We often say to people that the plants will go first at the physical problems, and the shamans often see that first. The medicine shows them in ceremony. The physical problems are kind of highlighted more quickly usually. Um, but what was interesting for me about how the healing works over the long time with the dieta process was that, we talk about the physical and then the emotional and the psychological and the spiritual, but they're totally interwoven. They're absolutely interwoven. So they're not separate. I mean, they are, but they're not. So whatever the plants are directed to heal, whether it's a physical issue or pain in the body or, more emotional, psychological suffering, which is what I was really looking for help with, uh, the plants go into the body as well. They go into every aspect of who we are. And it's kind of like whatever's ready for healing, whatever's ready for transformation and ready for understanding tends to be what we meet in that process.
For me, it was like it knew if it had helped me with the physical first, that I would have just, you know, jumped out of airplanes again. It would have been like go time because I healed that physical ailment. Um, and nothing can really heal the actual trauma in my back. It's like a deep surgery. I have, metal and stuff back there. So, it knew it had to teach me a new way of living before I could get the pain released. And that was a whole process on its own as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a very mystical and like very bespoke kind of healing process. It's like the plants meet you exactly where you are, and it's nobody else has got quite the same life story as you, right? So
There's an intelligence there.
Thank you for listening to this brief sponsorship notice. Walking with the Ancient Masters is sponsored by the Caya Shobo Healing Center near Iquitos, Peru. Caya Shobo helps people deeply heal and safely connect with plant wisdom in the true way of the Shipibo shamanic knowledge tradition. In small group retreats of no more than 11 guests, you can experience highly personalized treatment and begin your path of transformation with the wisdom of the master plants. Caya Shobo's experienced practitioners and advanced Shipibo master healers will treat and support you as you begin to heal trauma, clear energy blocks, and dive into your spiritual path. We invite you to safely explore this incredible ancestral tradition in the heart of the Amazon rainforest. Visit cayashobo.com for more information. That's CAYASHOBO.com.
You touched a little bit on like Reiki, Kundalini, all of these other kind of healing modalities. I just wanted to touch on that and why we have so much trust in the shamans. And as I understand it, it's like the visions of the medicine itself and it's the guidance of the plants that's kind of what helps us so much more than
relying on a practitioner.
relying on a practitioner. I mean, Reiki worked great for me. It helped me a lot. Meditation helps me a lot, but there's just something a little different with the visions and what you can see inside when you are treating someone.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think discernment in the choice of practitioner is important no matter what the modality, like including Shipibo shamanism. It's important to choose carefully, make sure that, well, you learn as you go. So, kind of you understand what integrity in the medicine really means more as you develop more understanding of the plants and of how they facilitate personal transformation for sure. But I'm reflecting, how is this path, if you like, this tradition unique? I mean, for me, it doesn't feel like a path. It feels like a remembering how to be in relationship with the wisdom in nature, which is kind of our birthright, you know. Um, and for sure, like the understandings that I've experienced through the dieta process or through my relationship with the medicine of ayahuasca feel like just innate sacred wisdoms that reside in life, you know, um, rather than a human created structure of thought or system of practice, which can also be very good. But there is human thought obviously in there, like the way the shamans have interpreted their relationship with the plants as relationships for a start versus scientific kind of study explorations, you know, the way we probably would do it in the West. That human interpretation changes the nature of the the therapy, but there is unmistakably kind of knowledge that lives in the plants and is straight from nature and, if you like, from God. Um, and that's accessible to each person individually. Now, it's not straightforward, it's complex. And that's beautiful. And also, there are lots of different labyrinths of misunderstanding that we could easily get distracted by and do, you know. But still, there's a tangible process. It's in the physical realm where we actually have the opportunity to experience everything about what it means to be a human being and gain understanding and greater harmony and cleansing through this practice without too much of the human mind kind of in between. At least that's how it seems to me. And that's really compelling, especially considering my background, which was a lot of psychological, like, kind of indoctrination. And I mean, that's what I really felt like I needed to clean. So every healing modality that I tried, it was helpful to some degree, you know, psychotherapy and different spiritual practices and massage therapy and meditation and so on. They were helpful, but it wasn't in, I don't know, it didn't have that physical vitality of wisdom in it that this path has offered to me, straight to nature.
Yeah, I'm having done quite a few diets. There's not much, um, especially in the dieta process. There's not much human involvement other than, you know, I'll get some dream interpretation, but a lot of it's just me and myself and the plant. Um, so that's was helpful for me because I don't like being told what to do. So it's it's like, um, if it comes from somebody like you have to do this and you have to do that, for me, the ability to eat something wrong on dieta and then be told specifically by the plant or by my dreams or however you want to interpret that, that was huge for me because someone telling me what to do, it's like, nah, I don't want to play that game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, the freedom seekers, you know, the rebels who don't want to be boxed. I
Yeah.
definitely feel like the sort of people who are attracted to this, as well as other types of people too. But yeah, I felt the same. I felt like it's pretty incredible that you can have that. It's a different type of conversation. It's not like I speak some words, the plant speaks some words. It's like I make a choice and the plant gives me a dream that indicates whether that's a good choice or not such a good choice.
Yeah.
Um, and it's uncanny. It's so consistent. And the more diets you do, it's so much more and more clear that, yeah, it becomes a way of life.
First major one I had was I was like, "Ah, I can try a little bit of hot sauce because I always like to push the boundaries. And I go straight into a dream and my whole world's on fire. Like the entire and it's not even there's no interpretation there. It's just like everything was on fire and it was like, okay, refocus, rediscipline, bring yourself in. Um
Yeah,
Now they're
disciplines.
not always like that. They're a lot more vague than that, but some of them are just like, here, don't eat that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some are really clear. And then there's others where you're really trying to, I don't know, understand something, what is it that the plants are presenting to you to understand about yourself? But discipline's a really good topic too. I was recently chatting to another one of our facilitators daily about this, and she offered me something really beautiful because sometimes I struggle with the discipline of diet. And I shared that with her, and she expressed an idea that she said it's not original. She couldn't remember where she got it from, but this notion that discipline, like self-discipline as a choice, is the greatest act of self-honoring. Like a great act of self-love. And that was beautiful, and it shifted things for me. And I feel like Dieta done well really is that, it's a choice of profound self-honoring and a commitment to, the spirit of a plant and to yourself. And then choosing, to restrict the foods and restrict the lifestyle and just really honor the development of this relationship with discipline for a period of time is a very beautiful and sacred act of self-honoring that can be very rewarding. It can also be challenging, but yeah, I think because sometimes when I think we talk about the discipline of diet, I think people who are unfamiliar with it can be like, why are you guys doing that? It just seems so
Culty.
restrictive. Yeah,
Yeah.
culty, totally. And restrictive to like joy, like why not just go out and have a beer with your mates? Like, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that. I don't know where I saw it, but there's something about if you say you're gonna do something for yourself and then do it, the reward is one of the greatest rewards humans can. It's like dopamine and all of the things. It's one of the greatest rewards you can give to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you're rewarded greatly with, like, it's like succeeding in a way. It's like you get this beautiful gift at the end of I find that too. I talk to people and their diets are closed and they're sad, and I'm like, you should be kind of proud of yourself. Like you should have some sort of pride in that you just accomplished 3 months of no all of these restrictions and you made it. It's amazing.
Yeah, but that sadness is not
Yeah.
uncommon, right? And I think it actually has a purpose, that sadness, when you come to the end of a dieta practice and you feel, oh, like I'm ready to close my diet and return to regular eating and regular life, but I'm sad that it's over. I think it has a really important purpose in helping initiate the integration phase. You get to go back and reflect on everything that you've been through, and that potency of the sense of something beautiful is ending helps that process.
Mhm.
And it's
Mhm.
pretty common. Most people experience that when they close diet. They get it like, oh, I don't know if I want to close it.
A little bit of missing your friend as well. I'm so happy we've concentrated so much on the integration part of not only the ceremonies, but the dieta. You're almost floating in space, not knowing which direction to go. And it's like, okay, focus on what the diet was about and then kind of move into the life with those new ideas and the new changes.
Yeah, and a lot of the time it's pretty confronting and challenging because a lot of the time what many people experience is that the diets are saying the existing dynamics you have in your principal relationships are making you unhappy or making you sick, and they have to change. If you're going to get healthier, they have to change. And then that can be really confusing and challenging and scary to navigate because they're often like very close principal primary relationships. So you don't want to just kind of abandon them, but things need to change and transform. Um, so yeah, support for that and kind of reinforcement and encouragement and like tools to help communicate things clearly and calmly, but also honoring yourself as the number one priority, learning how to choose yourself as the number one priority. I
Yeah.
think that's for me, I think that's the greatest gift of the plants is teaching me how to honor myself. And that's what I see them doing.
Mhm.
When I think about that, I think about that gift that the plants are giving me of self-honoring. And I think about what it means to be a plant. It's like, well, of course, that's what they're doing. They're like in their place, honoring their life, developing and growing, claiming resources, defending against things, irritants or aggravants that might jeopardize their well-being, honoring their life. And by doing so, they're part of an ecosystem. They give what they have to give. I feel like that's the greatest gift from them, actually.
And then they build a big, beautiful flower on the end to top it all off.
Which is like, what, a podcast?
Yeah.
Or a painting?
Oh, yeah, painting.
Mm-hmm.
Art. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beauty.
Have you found that in your dieting practice?
Oh, it's huge. The biggest part is a daily practice. It's taught me to carry on a meditation and a prayer and honoring myself every day. Like I found if I stopped, I would go backwards. So that was a big gift to give me. It was like the ability to carry discipline from the diet into the life. And then the play and the art and all of that stuff is but I think that's honoring yourself as well. It's like, take the time to do the things you enjoy.
Exactly.
It's all
Exactly.
the same thing. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
you need to take time for yourself to do the things you like to do. It's not just, and I'm guilty for that all the time, like work. And then, oh, why do I feel like crap? It's like, you haven't done anything. You haven't played your guitar. You haven't done anything to be good.
Mm-hmm.
There's no flower.
Yeah, I think also living in Canada, sometimes like colder places, I think we are a little bit more prone to that because we spend a lot of the year inside, so we kind of get a little bit inside, I feel. And yeah, plants are definitely wanting to grow outside.
I spend most of my life outside.
That's good.
Yeah, as a carpenter.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we touched on kind of the gifts of Dieta and what it's helped with you and your relationship in the world. And I kind of wanted to just see if you can explain a little bit about Caya Shobo and what the idea around Caya Shobo was, and why we spend so much of our time talking about Dieta and I feel like there's a lot of information on ayahuasca, but it's time to share the information, the little bit of information we have on diet and that kind of thing.
Well, I think the inception of Caya Shobo was born out of the personal healing path of a few people who had really sought help, like really sincerely sought help from the Shipibo shamans and gotten help, like meaningful healing, healing of deep and big traumas. But as we had that healing, there were aspects of the different kind of offerings in Peru where we felt like, okay, there's a gap here. There's a need for a place which is really focused on healing because everybody was so kind of enthused by ayahuasca, and you saw a lot of centers really focusing on kind of big ayahuasca ceremonies. And what happens there is the heart of the tradition gets lost in the kind of, the excitement of the unfamiliarity of this kind of powerful spiritual experience of ayahuasca. But for us, it's the deep healing really comes from going more into the heart of the understanding of how to relate with plants, lots of plants, and thereby develop a really profound understanding of yourself. And so, we had experienced that in measure, and we felt like a place was really needed to focus on that, to have that as its goal, to provide a genuine sanctuary where deep healing could happen, where ayahuasca is part of it, but where the real emphasis is on the healing and cleansing and transformation that is possible with Dieta. And with kind of Western management approach, so that Westerners can feel safe, they can feel really held and supported to go deeply into their process. So it was a continuation of our own healing exploration and, a desire to make that available to others. We also decided that it's important to have small groups so that there's not too much going on around people and that you can really focus on yourself. So we have a maximum of 12 people attending our groups and sometimes less than that. And really important for us was the level of knowledge, experience, skill, and personality of the maestros. We really want to work with maestros who are deeply dedicated to their own practice, which is hard to find these days because the kind of marketing of ayahuasca and the kind of hyped up activity around that does detract experienced shamans who want more money from their traditional practice. So, I think Caya Shobo is quite a rarity, actually, in our commitment to the tradition and to maestros who really, that's more important to them than just, filling their wallet. So, all those things go together to make a place that's pretty unique, pretty special, and safe.
Thank you, Becky. We could listen to you talk all day, and hopefully we can do another one.
Thanks so much, Nick. It's a pleasure to talk with you.
Ani china na ni